Hello, guys. Can everyone hear me? I can see people's messages, and then we also have Anna who is going to be monitoring the chat. I just want to make sure that everything is good. All right, sweet. Let's just wait another minute just to make sure that everyone is there, and then we will get started. All right, so yep, we're 1 minute past, so let's get started now, just to respect everyone's time. The idea being that we'll spend the next maybe 20 minutes to go over just the new cart feature, give you guys a live demo, and then whatever time that we have left over, Ann and I will be in the chats answering any questions that you may have that are maybe more general. And any sort of questions that we see repeatedly, we'll go ahead and just answer for everyone to check out. And then, everyone kind of has that shared knowledge there. In terms of just next steps after, this will be recorded, and then we'll go ahead and send that over on Friday. And just any sort of immediate questions that that you may have, you're more than welcome to send me a message, and I'll go ahead and respond. I'll provide that email as well in the end. All right. So let's see. So just in terms of the webinar today, we're going to go over a couple of key points. It's the cart feature, give you a very basic platform walkthrough, and then any sort of just key points, things to keep in mind. So for those of you that have started already working with the new cart logic or the new feature, it launched on Friday, and we've seen pretty great success in terms of just seeing you guys as creators. It's a little bit more flexible to go ahead and book assignments, and so the idea is to continue to work towards giving you guys that flexibility. Okay. So just as a general understanding, so what is the cart feature? Essentially what it is, it's a new version of what we had in the past with the previous platform that allows you to hold projects so that way you're able to claim them, but they're just not scheduled. So the cart feature only works for projects that have no scheduled date and time, right? So that means that the merchant, they don't have a set time when they spoke with DoorDash. And so that's just something to keep in mind. The idea being that you can hold up to 10 projects in your cart at any time. So let's say that you're browsing. Maybe there's a city that you want to travel to. That gives you a little bit more flexibility to maybe find some projects that you can go ahead and that you want to work on, and then hold them for a period of about 48 hours, or it's 2 business days. Okay, so once a project is in your cart, there's a deadline of about 48 hours or 2 business days. And when a project is in your cart, that means other creators cannot see it and they can't take it. So it's yours. So we've taken the feedback that you guys have given us, and the idea is to give you guys a little bit more flexibility with the scheduling. So the first question, right? It's like, why use it? The idea with the cart is that it keeps all of your claimed projects organized in one place, and it's for easier access. Once again, each project in the cart, it's reserved for you for 2 business days. If you don't do anything, right? So if you don't schedule or update the project before the deadline, you'll just be automatically unassigned. So be proactive when it comes to scheduling, right? So if you know that you scheduled a couple of things let's say on a Monday, you have until Wednesday, right, to go ahead and finish trying to book it. And the other thing as well is that for right now, it is a 10 project, it's a 10 projects, that's maximum capacity. So you must schedule or unassign yourself from a project before you're able to claim a new one. So, having that in mind. When is the scheduling deadline? The project, once it enters your cart, it gets a scheduling deadline of 2 days. For the most 2 days, right? And we count this as 2 business days. For example, if you claim something on, let's say Monday, you have until Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. to schedule that project, right? To attempt to schedule the project. Um, the point that I'd like to note is because we're speaking about business days, if you schedule something, let's say on a Friday, you actually have until Tuesday to, kind of book that assignment, to try to book that assignment. And let me see. And then Anna, do you see any messages in the chat so far?
No, not yet. But if anyone has any question, guys, please go ahead.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, let me just double check. Yeah, because I don't see any. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. So you guys should be able, there we go. You guys should be able to add some questions. So we'll take it just a quick moment to give you guys a little bit of an opportunity, and then we'll then move into kind of next steps. But yeah, so in the meantime, Anna or myself will be able to answer any questions that you guys may have. Anna will probably do a lot more of the typing, as I'll be going over the cart logic. And then just keeping in mind that in order to respect everyone's time, the idea is that we're answering general questions related to this new feature. Any sort of questions related to, let's say, invoicing, any sort of things like travel fees, the new, travel request compensation fees, all of that. It's best that you are able to do so, that you contact support, okay? All right, let's see. So the other question as well is what happens when you can't schedule a project? The main idea, right, is that sometimes even after claiming a project, you cannot confirm a date. So maybe that means that the business they are not interested anymore. It might mean that they're just unreachable, whatever the case is. All that you have to do is go ahead and make sure to select the appropriate reason. It's important that you select the appropriate reason because depending on the reason, actions will then be taken. The first one is actually that the partner is unreachable, and that's only going to be available on the last day. Sorry, that's only going to be available on the last day. The reason that that is because we want to make sure that you have ample time to try to contact the business, whether it's, you send emails, you go ahead and give them a call, whatever the reason is. So you can go ahead and do that. The other one as well is that the partner might ask to be contacted later. This is important for a couple of reasons. If they ask to be contacted, let's say more than 2 weeks later, then we're gonna then that'll send that project over to support. But if it's within a couple of days, then you are then able to still do that, right? The other one might be that the partner refuses to shoot. I know one of the biggest questions that we get asked that I've had when I've been speaking to creators is why does a partner refuse? What are you guys doing on your end? Whatever the case is. It's important to note that the partner sometimes they refuse the shoot because at the time that they signed up with DoorDash, maybe they were interested in said project, but now they're not interested in anymore, right? So they're not interested in being on the platform, they're not interested in taking photos, whatever the case is. The other one as well is that the phone number might be incorrect. So if the phone number is incorrect, what we go ahead and do is we go ahead and send that over to support. Then support tries to get in contact with the business. They try to, they use whatever channels they have. And so that's another avenue that we are trying to take. And just the last one as well is that you cannot agree on a suitable date. And this sometimes happens if, let's say, you think I want to schedule this for this date, but then let's say that the merchant they're not available until let's say 2, 3 days later and doesn't coincide with your schedule. As a freelancer, right? As a self-employed professional, you're more than able to disengage from that project. Okay. How do you report a project? You go onto the project page and then you click can't schedule a project. And after that, you just select the correct reason. So what happens next? The system records your update. The relevant teams, in this case, it's going to be the customer support team, they're informed. In some cases, it might mean that the scheduling deadline may be extended. And in other cases, it may just mean that it's going to be reassigned. Okay, so it just kind of depends on which one it is that you choose. Just make sure that you choose the reason that makes the most sense. And from there, we'll be able to kind of action your requests accordingly. All right. And then let me just take a quick pause here. Let me see if I can see some questions on the, all right. Awesome. Okay, cool. The things that I see already that are really good is I see some feedbacks. So those are things that we will take that we were going to go ahead and take, obviously from these calls, and from these feedbacks, we'll then be able to provide those over to the customer, to the product team. So I see some feedbacks from a couple of creators, and noting regional differences and stuff like that. So 100% that's being looked into. Okay. All right. And then just in terms of some other questions that we have based on the new logic, it's one of the big questions has been when do I apply then for a travel fee? In some ways, this is going to be easier because all you have to do is continue applying for a travel fee while the project is in your cart by using the typical travel fee request form. Okay, so so I just want to reiterate that this gives you more flexibility because if a project is on hold, and you might be interested in something that's a little bit further, you have then the 2 days to also go ahead and proactively contact customer support and to make sure that a travel fee can be applied to this project. If the travel fee is granted, then you will see it as a boost, as we had mentioned in the past. And then from there, the project, and you schedule the date and time, you can then go ahead and claim it, and everything should be good to go there. Okay. So this one actually gives you a little bit more flexibility because we know that sometimes creators, you guys are interested in a project, but you're not really sure if the child is going to be accepted, whatever the case is. And because it's being held in your cart, no one else can take it. You have a little bit more, let's say, grace. Like you can be a little bit more calm when it comes to looking for that project and trying to schedule it. Another big question that we've gotten as well is, I claimed the project, but it does not appear in my cart. This is now something that is going to be important to consider because it may just mean that someone has already claimed the project before you. With the new cart, there's also more flexibility for other creators, so it opens up the possibility that there might be creators, especially in highly populated areas, right? Really competitive areas in the US and in other countries, where people are looking at the same project and they're thinking, okay, I'm going to try to book this one. Okay, so this is just something to keep in mind. If, however, you experience where you have claimed the project and it is in your cart, and when you call, there is the business maybe tells you that you're too late, that someone has already claimed it, et cetera, et cetera. That should not happen. So if that does happen, that may mean that there is a bug, and so we count on you to send us a message. You can send it directly to me, and I can go ahead and send it over to the product team, because as of right, in general, the way that this cart works, it is only visible to you, so it's only for you. Okay, so I just want to reiterate that if it happens where you lose the project while it is in your cart and you can send over a screenshot, please send that over. Just because that may be a bug. Hasn't happened yet, but it's just something to keep in mind. And then the final question as well is, when can I see the merchant email and phone number? So if the project is in your cart, you can access the project details and find the merchant's phone number and email address. The reason being is that once you have put it in your cart, you know that it's yours, and so now you have access to the contact details. It doesn't really make sense to provide it before, just because because even if you, by the time that you get in contact with them, whatever the case is, maybe there's already another creator that has already put the project in their cart. So just make sure that you put it in your cart first. Give yourself the 2 days to try to book, and from there you should be pretty good to go. All right, let me see. I just want to go ahead and take a look.
We have some questions about travel fees,
Yep,
because we know that the mechanism changed. So if
yep.
you could maybe shortly introduce it, it would be great, as well as about the calendar and if the creators are automatically assigned into the missions if they provide availability.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the travel fees. There, um, we've gotten some messages. I've received some messages and some feedbacks in terms of how travel fees work again, or why is it that my travel fee was denied, whatever the case is. So keep in mind that the travel fee, the idea is that you are proactively checking to see if a travel fee can be applied. In the past, it was a little bit more complicated, right? Because we didn't have the cart, and so I know that there was the fear that you would apply for the travel fee, and then in that meantime, another creator would go ahead and take the project, and so you would maybe lose it. In this case, the idea is that you are going to go ahead and apply for the travel fee while the project is in your cart. No one else should be able to take said project. So then that means that you have that time period to A, get in contact with the merchant, and then B, get in contact with customer support. Truth be told, I would do the inverse, right? So I would go ahead and get in contact with customer support first. And then once the travel fee has been accepted or denied, you can then take the decision to either accept or move forward with another project. If the travel fee does not work, right? So you get a message saying that the travel fee does not work. It has happened that I've spoken to a couple of creators, and when I've gone ahead and sent it over to support, it turns out you guys were using the old travel fee link because let's say you had it saved in you had it saved in your browser, you have it saved as just like as a favorite, whatever the case is. My advice would be to go to the Help Center article and to click on the dedicated form that is there. So there's a button there, and then that should take you to the new link. Just double check that it's the correct link. Because if you're putting everything right, so it's just the short ID, you will get an answer, within a certain amount of time. And if, you're applying to, let's say, I don't know, 10 projects, and out of those 10, all of them get denied, it might be because you're using the wrong travel fee form. Okay, so just have that in the back of your head. And then, Anna, what was the other big question again?
The other question was about the calendar. So if we provide our availability in the calendar, will we get any auto assign of the missions? Or will we get missions fall in our cart in the available time?
Yes, so there is, as always, right, there is the possibility that if you are someone who updates your calendar repeatedly, the system may go ahead and automatically assign you to a project. Or I know that some of you, I see some names here that are quite familiar. I know that some of you speak to, certain agents quite a lot, right? So Mariana, Laura, these people, and they give you, and they might provide you with some projects, right, that they also want to fill from their end. Then yeah, 100%. So that is one thing, and then I know that the calendar that we have spoken about in the past. So the calendar is next for the product team to go ahead and reintroduce or just reintroduce, add a little bit more things to it, make it a little bit more intuitive. But yes, so that is something to consider. Once again, if you get assigned to a project and it's you are as always, you're a self-employed professional. If you get assigned to a project just because you maybe accidentally put that let's say, I don't know, that you're available said date, but you actually aren't anymore, it would be then go and you cannot complete the project, go ahead and cancel, just because it is also your right as a self-employed person to be able to decide when and what projects you take. So this is just always something that I want to reinforce, provide you guys that agency as creators on the platform. And then any other questions before I move on to just a quick demo? We have about 10 minutes. So actually, I'll do a quick demo. And in the last 5 minutes, if there's any major questions that I see, we
We
can finish those.
we have two more questions.
Yeah.
Actually, one is about the travel fee requests still, meaning that we can keep the projects in our cart for 2 days. But what if we don't get travel fee answer within this period? Like, is currently travel fee answer always within the period, or the card gets extended provided that we are waiting for the answer?
Yeah, good question. So in terms of the travel fee, the how quick it happens, I know that the support team has been very good about this, and so I know that it is, let's say, about, I think it's like It's a 9 out of 10, right? So it's about 90% of them, they are being done within the 3 hours, right? So they're being done within this time frame. If there is a project for whatever reason that is not being done in that time, then I would suggest that you go ahead and proactively contact the support team and let them know. So then that way they have that there. Okay. And so that would be something that I would also that I would suggest in this case. And then let me see, do I see any other? Let me see. Yes, and so I see some messages about kind of the speed of the customer support team as well. I know that this has been a conversation as I've spoken to some of you guys, and I think some of you have started to see that in general we the support team it's been expanding, it's growing a bit, and so actually we're very happy to say that a lot of the new messages that we're getting, right, a lot of the new support tickets are being answered in a time period that's it's improved quite a bit. So. Obviously, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's something that we have taken as feedback. So yeah. And then the last question I see as well is qu'il y a un réunion en français. Um, as of right now, there is no scheduled webinar in French, but that might change. So if we see that there needs to be one, then yeah, we can go ahead and have that done. You will have to bear with me on my French, but yes, that can be done. Okay, and then let me see. So let me just go ahead and do a very quick, I just want to go ahead and show you guys a very quick platform walkthrough just to show you how it works. Okay. Mm, Should work. Okay. So, okay. So this is just, I'm based in Paris as well. And so just based on, let's say that there's these different projects, right? So different prices. Let's say that I see a project that I like. I can go ahead and then view details. This one already has a preferred time. So if you see, because this one already has a preferred time, it will not go into your cart. The reason being is that this is the time that the business has decided, right? When they initially joined the DoorDash platform, that they wanted to book a photo shoot, and so that's why that's there. So in this case, if you were to choose this, you can claim project. The project is then yours, and you have the phone number and email to get in contact with them, introduce yourself before, and that should be done. Okay. So now let's move on to a project that does not have a time. So let's say that we have this project here. We have a mid MD. So we can go to view details. So we know that it's going to be 10 photos and the hero shot. Here's the price, there's the boost. So all of this is there. And I can then go ahead and claim the project. Okay, so now the project is mine for the next 48 hours. If I want to go ahead and take a look at my cart, I can now just go to project to schedule and I can click on this project. And here's where I have the phone number, the email, what language it is that the merchant speaks. I can send them the landing page. I can view the guidelines for those of us that are in the US. We only have DoorDash guidelines, right? So, but if you're unfamiliar, if you're new to the platform, you can go ahead and take a look. For those of us that are in Europe and in other areas, then this might be good if you just so that way you have a look at whether it's Uber Eats, whether it's whatever other provider that we have. Okay, so this project is now mine. The short ID is also there. I can go ahead and drop can't schedule project and schedule project. One thing to keep in mind is that if you drop a project, is that even though you have these 2 days to book an assignment, this does not mean that repeatedly booking assignments and just letting them go without any sort of intervention is good, right? So this will affect your reliability score. But if you go ahead and attempt, right, attempt in good faith to try to contact a business and get them, schedule that project, then you're going to go ahead and choose some of these. If you cannot schedule the project, you then have a couple of different options. So you can go ahead and put these. And depending on the one that you've chosen, it's going to then depend on what actions are done after, right? So if the merchant is unreachable, they want to be called back later, merchant refuses to do the project, wrong number, whatever the case is. Many of these, what it's going to do is send it back to us so we have that information. And then someone on the support team will go ahead and try to contact the business, do whatever it is, so that way the project can be fulfilled. Okay. If you are able to then successfully schedule the project, what you're going to do is you're just going to put it just like before, date and time. I certify that the merchant agreed to this date and time. And then you're going to go ahead and select, and that's it. Okay. Some other points as well. Let's say that you're getting in contact with just best practices. You're getting in contact with the business. They're not really sure what you mean, or you're on the phone and they say, yeah, yeah, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I always suggest that you send the landing page. And so what that does is that it sends them the page where they are then able to book the photo shoot or do some sort of action. It can also remind them that that they as part of working with DoorDash or Uber Eats, this photo shoot is complimentary to them. So just something to keep in mind there. Um, all right, let's see. All right, and then just as a final key points, right? So choose carefully, repeatedly adding a project to your cart and simply unassigning yourself. It can affect your reliability score. Use all the resources that you have. One of the big things that we took as feedback from you guys that we implemented again is the email, right? So it's a great way to get in contact with the restaurant's decision makers. I know it's different for each country. I specifically work with the US, and I know that in certain areas, email is the way to go, right? So we took that into consideration and we've added the email back. Okay. The other one is be productive, be proactive. It's once it's in your cart, schedule it within the next 2 days. I know that it sounds like a lot of time, but really 2 days go by really fast, especially with all of your other, engagements, whatever the case is. And then just finally, just provide some feedback. As always, us as community managers, so myself, we're here to listen and also to take whatever feedback you guys have. So that way we are then able to implement and make the product better. Okay. So that's just something that I want to kind of end off with. And then Anna, you've been in the chat. Do you see any other big questions that I can maybe answer for everyone?
We have some more questions and inquiries about the landing page. So I'm not sure if this was available in V2, but what basically the clients, the merchants can see, and we send it to them for what exactly? Basically, a quick overview. If you could do 1 second, please.
Yeah, definitely. So I wish I could show you guys, but because it's not that's a real project, I don't have access to what they see exactly. But essentially, what they see is they see a page. It reminds them of their photo shoot that they have scheduled with. It reminds them of their photo shoot. It gives them details as to what it is that they need to do. So if they have not scheduled a date and time, then they can go ahead and do so. And it also has a couple of, I believe it has a support button on there, right? It has all these things. So it's just, so more than anything, it's for if a business maybe doesn't know they're not too sure about what's happening, this is a good way to remind them. The other thing as well that's also really good is if you, let's say, schedule something, let's say today's a Monday and you scheduled something for Friday, you got in contact with the merchant, let's say today, and well, let's say on Monday, I would always suggest that you can either send a text, right, just reminding them that they have a photo shoot scheduled, or you can also go ahead and send them just a landing page so that way they get that notification saying, hey, this is the time that your photo shoot has been set. This is the time that this is the time that you had chosen essentially. And so that's also a good way to kind of remind them. And then I see that we have about 1 minute left. I can answer one more question. Do you see any, Anna, that you saw?
No, I think we answered all of them.
Cool.
So all good here.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I just want to respect everyone's time. Finish at the time that we said, and I'll go ahead and send over an email on Friday. Just a thank you email. But more than anything, I'll also have my calendar link. So if you need to schedule a call with me, whatever the case is, please go ahead and do so. And be more than happy to, yeah, be more than happy to help out. Yeah, but thank you guys so much. Have a good one.